Don't be a people pleaser. If you're out there in this world just trying to please people, oh boy, I'm telling you, you're gonna lose. You're gonna be in like the trenches and fail. Wait, so what? All these messages you find online and people spewing about don't be a people pleaser, don't be good in the general sense in the world. So what? We should all be selfish. We should all be self centered, ingrate. Is that what it is now? Is that how we're playing? Come off it. Listen, if you're out there and listening to this, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you if your innate desire is to please the world. It's fine. That's your own springing. That's your own calling or your own innate desires and what you want for your life. However, I will say it does come with some conditions. Now, I do not create these conditions. In fact, as you go through your experience, you'll find out that you add more to this list as it grows and expands in your reality and your experience as you go through life and things that you face. First is the chances that if you like to please and you have so much good in your heart, the chances that you accept people for who they are, their differences, be it in personality, in beliefs, in principles, and all that kind of things, doctrine and all that kind of stuff. It's likely that you accept all different kinds of people as they are, and you actually see the uniqueness and you enjoy the uniqueness in these people like that. The only issue with that is you will find that that may not necessarily be returned in coin to you. And I think this is the offshoot of where the original "Don't Be a People Pleaser" might come from, and they expect you to resign. But when you find yourself in that, as you will find yourself in situations like that, you need to be prepared. So you need to be mentally prepared. As with everything that you do in life, you have to be mentally prepared. As such, people might not accept you, as I said, but you have to be strong in depth and realize that that's coming your way and have an extra layer of compassion and empathy. It's easier said than done, and you're going to pick up a lot of learnings along the way. You've got to go through the ringer to find out how you're going to come out whole and be yourself, but don't give up. By no means fall for these naysayers and people that say, "Oh, don't be a people pleaser. Don't please people. Please people if you want. If that's you, be you. And if that's not you, hey, stay true to yourself. My message really today is about people being true to themselves. The other thing is, which is an offshoot of the first point, is you're likely to find that there's a perception that you're coming in last place when people don't accede or they don't see things the way you do. And thus there's a jostling because there's no real care towards your disposition. So it's a perception really that you might come in last place. That the good people finish last, that type of thing. No, good people never finish last. That's just a fact. I think one of the ways you can combat that is to actually really define for yourself what is first place, what is last place, or if there are any positions at all to grade any feeling or any thought process relating to that. You're always a winner as long as you're sticking to who you are. You're going to win. And besides, the feeling of doing good and getting rewards from that far, far outweighs having to deal with trepidation when you have a conscience and knowing that I'm not in the I'm getting results, but by virtue of doing the wrong things in terms of how you treat people. Some of the people don't even have conscience in that pathway when it comes to considerations for other people, but they have the right to live as well, so let them live. And they've got an override button to override those emotions. That's not something to concern yourself with. Well, I say that loosely because as you go through your journey, you would want to have this extra existential philosophical view of analyzing, what would take people into those sort of places. Like, why would someone feel so comfortable knowing that they've cheated somebody else out of something that belongs to them for themselves? It's just human nature. And I know it sounds simple, but in experiential terms, it is jarring, and it does move you in ways that you're not going to expect. So, again, be prepared for that. As long as you're prepared and and you have certain tenets within yourself that's going to keep you centered, for example, being measured, not being easily agitated, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. And I'll just take this moment to quickly touch on emotions like anger, a feeling of selfishness or exasperation, any of all these things, or love, or lust, even, or happiness, or any of these things that alter our state into an emotional feeling are all natural feelings. They're configured. It's not borrowed. It's all within you, and it has to be managed appropriately. Like, the saying, which I do agree that's out there, is that everything in life must be in moderation. It must be in balance. So, having these emotions is not a wrong thing. It's how you use them and how you balance them out is a thing to consider. For example, in terms of anger, you hear of anger management. You hear of people displaying high incidences of anger in how they move across their life. And as such, there's a negative connotation to anger itself, or happiness, or love, all these kind of things. But sticking with anger, anger actually has a role to play in human society and interaction. Sometimes the emotion of anger moves you to a certain state of action. For example, you could just be like angry that you're unable to lift a certain weight. And then you're motivated and you want to fight it, you want to overcome it. You could be angry that at a state of injustice, and that will move you to positive action. But anger also can go easily left because it's a state of emotion that alters you in a way that's kind of destabilizes your center and reasoning, prefrontal cortex, I think the word is, or your reasoning abilities, to keep it simple. And thus, it can be totally blown out and take you out of what you normally do. Think of anger like a match. The difference between a match and, a raving forest fire. So a match can be useful and can be controlled, as long as it's done so safely. But a bushfire is not easily as controlled as such. So you've got to measure your progressions when it comes to anger. For example, you might want a positive outcome that anger has moved you to, maybe rightly so, but there is a state in which you will use that anger and go beyond, and then it defeats the purpose, because then your anger becomes the object of that particular situation. So, like I said, those are just three, and a couple little extras on the topic. And I'm sure, as I said, during your experience, you're going to even add more. And I have more as well, but I just thought I'd stick with those right now. But do let me know what you think. And if this is a conversation that is worth having. Thank you. God bless. Peace. Love one another.